Hospital Services Support Foundation is a volunteer-run nonprofit organization founded in 2018 to support needy patients in hospitals in Sri Lanka. We partner with the Hospital Services Council, HSC, in Sri Lanka, who facilitate the distribution of donated items. We also run local programs for improving wellness. Hospital Services Council was founded in 1984 by Venerable Pambila Vipasi Thero and is a government-approved charity based in the National Hospital of Sri Lanka. Venerable Rajavali Subati Thero has been the executive director of the Hospital Services Council since 2008. He has dramatically expanded the organization's capabilities with several overseas affiliations. Hospital Services Council serves many needy public hospitals in all regions of Sri Lanka. Hospital Services Support Foundation was established to do our part in helping alleviate the suffering of disadvantaged patients and hospitals in Sri Lanka. During a visit by Venerable Subati Thero to California in 2018, he explained to a group of us about the valuable contributions made by the Hospital Services Council. He also explained processes and procedures used by the organization in uplifting the underfunded and under-equipped public hospitals in Sri Lanka. Dedicated efforts by doctors in some rural hospitals to use donations to improve services to their patients were heart-wrenching. In 2019, we started with the pilot project, collected some mobility equipment such as wheelchairs and crutches and other items, and shipped several boxes to Sri Lanka. One of our office bearers attended the distribution of equipment in Sri Lanka. In 2020, we contacted a local hospital in California and they agreed to donate valuable medical equipment. We also collected equipment from our local community and stored them in a public storage unit. Once we collected enough equipment to fill a 40-foot container, we were ready to ship our first container. We parked the container in a nearby cul-de-sac and rented a truck with a liftgate to transport the equipment from the storage to the container. We loaded them with the help of about 60 volunteers, and it took 2 full days. Packing a 750-pound ICU bed was no small feat. We built multiple levels inside the container to maximize the use of space. We continued to collect more equipment and loaded the second container, again with the help of many volunteers from our community, which also took 2 days. We shipped over 100 overbed tables in great demand in Sri Lanka. The use of public storage had many limitations and was costly. An introduction by one of our members to a warehouse owner helped us upgrade to a new storage location, where they had container loading docks and we got storage space at a very reasonable cost. We expanded our efforts in collecting equipment with several other hospitals and clinics. We continued to expand our operations by establishing contacts with several other hospitals and organizations. The use of the warehouse was timely, and we were able to load a container in 1 day with fewer volunteers, as we had access to a forklift and other loading equipment. With COVID-19 in 2021, there came an urgent need for medical equipment to expand hospitals and protect healthcare workers with personal protective equipment. Despite all the COVID challenges, we continued our efforts to ship 4 more containers and air freighted breathing equipment to Sri Lanka. ICU beds and other equipment helped furnish the new ICU units at Homagama Base Hospital and the Kalubovila General Hospital to meet the demand for COVID patients. In addition to the generous donations from our supporters, the funds raised from the dinner dance in November 2019 helped make the early container shipments. Few of our community leaders stepped up and kindly sponsored container shipments, enabling us to continue shipments through 2021. In addition, a senior executive in the shipping industry introduced us to another company that supports shipments by nonprofit organizations. And we got attractive prices for the last 2 container shipments. The use of public storage had many limitations and was costly. One of our contacts in the healthcare industry introduced us to a warehouse owner, and they gave us storage space for a reasonable cost. They had container loading docks and equipment that let us load a container in one day with fewer volunteers. We also share our expertise in collecting equipment and shipping containers with other nonprofit organizations in the US and Canada. We recently helped a Sri Lankan nonprofit organization send a container from Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore, Maryland to Sri Lanka. It is worth noting that the Hospital Services Support Foundation is a volunteer-run organization. Donations are used only to cover the cost to collect, store, refurbish, and ship the medical-related items to Sri Lanka. The shipments we made consisted of ICU beds, hospital beds, delivery beds, stretchers, examination tables, baby cribs, bed over tables, surgical tools, IV stands, PPEs, sanitizing gels, and various other equipment are estimated to be over $1 million. It is the equivalent to near 20-fold matching or an equivalent increase in your donations. Plans to raise funds for continuing our efforts were hindered by the prevailing COVID situation, resulting in the cancellation of the fundraiser dinner dance planned for November 2021. We plan another fundraiser for July 31st, 2022 to address our funding shortfalls. We sincerely thank all the generous donors, sponsors, and volunteers who enable us to do all the invaluable work to date and hope that many more will join in supporting our efforts. We look forward to your continued generous donations and sponsorships. We'd like to invite you to join us by volunteering your expertise. Please contact us and help continue our efforts to alleviate the suffering of needy patients in Sri Lanka.